Howdy, howdy. It is the Big E, Eric Arnold, back with you here midday Friday, the 13th of August, here in the Sports Barn. And right now the Sports Barn, well, the Big E's as hot as the weather right now. Just in case you've missed it, and I'll probably throw it in the title so you don't freaking miss it. We've got 14 winners in a row going on MLB, 14 winners in a row. I think we have 4 picks for you today, 4 free MLB picks to see if we can run that. 4 plus 14, my Twin Valley education tells me that's 18, so that's what we're looking for at the end of the night, 18. You know, if we don't lose on Friday the 13th, I may never lose again. So, I don't know. We're going to try it, see what happens. Yeah, well, just throw up quick what we did. I took yesterday off, just kind of needed a day off. I had other things to do and just kind of take a little mental break. Wednesday, we had 3 winners. Late night, our 14th win was the walk-off home run by Ozzie Albies. We've got a handful of very loyal Reds fans here, and I was happy then to get the W over them. Joey Votto, who I've slandered repeatedly in this Sports Barn all year long, he had a fantastic night, so I kind of thought that was kind of karma. It's like, wow, I've trashed this guy all year. Now here he is standing on his head trying to beat me, bastard. But ultimately he came up short, which in a way is kind of why we bet against the Reds. You know, that's a red. You know, the Cubs, they had a saying before they smashed their team up, and now we're one of the worst teams in the history of baseball. But before they did that, they had a saying there in Chicago. They'd say, well, that's Cub. You know, their little, group kumbaya, let's all get together and change the culture under Theo Epstein type deal. And they would, anytime somebody did something good, they would try to say, well, that's Cub. You know, in other words, you just went out to the bar and scored some girl who's way out of your league, and good for you. That's Cub. Well, the Reds coming back to take the lead after trailing the whole damn game, getting beaten a walk-off home run, that's red. And that's what the Reds have always done. That's why they haven't been in the playoffs in any appreciable way. No, I don't count last year, especially because A, it was an aborted season, 2, you didn't score a run. So that doesn't count. That doesn't count. So the Reds are the Reds. We got lucky maybe. 14 in a row. There you have that. Before we get to the picks, I've got a number of things here I want to talk about. It's hot. I got to talk slower. I'm going to pass out here. I lost a lunch last night with Pittsburgh Louie. He's our guest handicapper in the comments, and he actually does live in the Pittsburgh area. It's not a pen name such as like Amarillo Slim, who actually lives in Las Vegas. It's he actually lives in Pittsburgh. So kind of one of those things where, I'm the mayor of Philadelphia, I have to bet whatever because the Eagles are playing the Steelers. So I bet a lunch with them. I lost. The preseason of the NFL, I think, is entirely meaningless. So having watched the Eagles last night, I try not to read a lot into it. Just some general vibes that I have, not stemming strictly from last night, but just overall about the upcoming Philadelphia Eagles season. Well, I feel pretty good here about this one. I think they're going to have a good defense. They brought in a lot of veteran guys on one-year deals. I think primarily the main reason I think the D is going to be better is because Jim Schwartz isn't there. That guy, he might be the only guy in the history of the NFL to give up, 400 or 500 yards in the Super Bowl and win? that I've always thought that he held that Eagles D back. I just never was a Schwartz guy. If Schwartz was so damn good, why is he not getting a job right now? In other words, he made it clear early in the cycle last year, as we're heading towards the end of the NFL season, this is my last year with the Eagles. In other words, I'm inside. I can see the writing on the wall. Doug's not coming back. I'm going to be out of here. Hey, I'm on the market. Just saying, I would like a job. Well, not only did he not get a head coaching job, he doesn't have a coordinator job. To me, that says something. That no one rushed out and signed this guy. I think I'm more on the right than wrong side here. That this guy's just not that good. His defenses are not that good. So I think the guy replacing him is going to do much better. He's going to take the same guys and he's going to get more out of them. So Eagles defense, I think, is going to be vastly improved. The offense, I think, is going to be the same. I do not think Jalen Hurts is going to be this. He's not the next Donovan McNabb. That's my gut instinct. I hope he proves me wrong. But my gut instinct is, as much as I want him to be, I'm just not, I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting that warm and fuzzy that this guy's going to set the NFL on fire. I think he'll have moments where he'll hit 5-6 passes in a row and he'll look great. And then he's going to struggle for, a quarter and a half. So, kind of like it was last year. The Eagles punting game, I do not think it's going to be as good. They let Cam Johnson get out of town. They have a rookie punter. That's a big part of the NFL, especially if your offense ain't great and you're going to punt a lot. So I think the Eagles are going to be marginally improved, but we're not talking playoffs. I think this is a 6-7 win team. So that's my gut there on the Eagles. I know some of you like, the NFL is what you love, and there's that. All right, well, I've been thinking about this MLB proposed deal with Barstool. Do you know what Barstool is? Barstool Sports. They have a website. They're branching out into a lot more content areas. They are owned more or less by Penn National Gaming, that of Berks County, here in Reading, Pennsylvania, headquartered. So I've been around Penn National my whole life. But this idea that MLB might start streaming some of their games through Barstool at some point next year, 2 years, who knows. I saw an interview that Dave Portnoy, he's the owner or the founder of Barstool, he gave with one of the people that doesn't like him. The guy was gracious enough to talk to Portnoy. So, and Portnoy does a good job of defending his brand. He should. It's his brand. But the whole thing, Barstool has this terrible reputation where everybody runs around and says they hate women and they're racist. Now, if you've consumed any kind of content from Barstool for more than 10 minutes, none of that's true. But, that's what the cheap, easy thing that's spread out there by, basically woke people who Barstool's just not woke enough for them. And that upsets them. They're not part of the club. So, they hate them and try to destroy them. So, Portnoy gave a good defense, and I think, him partnering with MLB would be really good. I really hope this sort of thing happens. Right now, the MLB is just kind of stuck in a rut. It needs something to boost its popularity, to make the game more interesting. Barstool brings in the gaming aspect of it. which is what we like to do anyway. You know, they're just not part of the club. It annoys, you know, MLB. I have no doubt that Rob Manfred is simply a woke fool based on his actions surrounding the All-Star game. However, he does have owners that he answers to, who I would hope at some point, whatever their politics, the bottom line is more important to them than their politics. That their brand, the fans are more important to them than their politics. So Barstool would be good for the fans. That I'm pretty sure of. This idea that Barstool hates women. I mean, I guess I get that from, you know, if you've never been on the Barstool website, they like to lift a lot of scantily clad co-eds who take pictures of themselves and post themselves on Twitter and Instagram, which I guess I just don't understand part of that. I mean, in other words, I have my AARP card. This is all, you know, I'm an old fart, and it's like, okay, I kind of sort of get this, but what I don't get is why Barstool catches all the heat for it. In other words, why is Facebook, you know, who owns Instagram, why are they not slandered as anti-women because women take their clothes off on Instagram? And no one made her take her clothes off. She did it on her own. So what, you know, Mark Zuckerberg didn't go there with a gun and pointing it at her head and say, take her clothes off. You know, she did it on her own. He just gave her a place to do it. You know, same with YouTube and Twitter. They're letting this type of content on their platforms. So why are they not the bad guys? You know, of course, then you know, it's kind of hypocrisy where then a lot of the tech tyrants, they're all part of the woke media that hates Barstool. So why then do you get to post this kind of content, but then when Barstool does it, they're bad? I don't get that. You know, it's just hypocrisy. Probably the most controversial thing that Barstool does, if you can believe this, the most controversial thing they do, they support the cops. They support the cops. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, I'm being facetious here, you know, in a way. 20 years ago, that was a pretty conventional stance. Remember 9/11? That was only 20 years ago, and we all loved the cops. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of that, and you know, that was pretty much the universal stance everywhere. Now, you say, I support the police, you're bad. It's amazing. So Barstool's got some guts there. I mean, right now they've got some content up where they're covering a story no one else is covering. You know, a police officer, 2 police officers in Chicago got gunned down over the weekend in a traffic stop by, you know, at least one of them, there were 2 brothers. One was a convicted felon. The other one was convicted. I'm not sure the crime he got convicted of was a felony. That part I just couldn't make clear out of the news reports. So they pull him over in a traffic stop. They're in the midst of committing another crime because they've got a gun with them, and the felon's not allowed to have the gun, but he has it anyway, of course. So in the midst of the traffic stop, the guy starts shooting, kills the one police officer. The other police officer is critically wounded. He's in the hospital right now. So Barstool, they're covering the story. Not only that, and what this has to do with sports, really nothing, but what is a lot of things that's on ESPN's website have to do with sports. Same deal, nothing. So they've raised money for the police foundations or officer down funds or whatever. I'm not sure where the money goes, but they've raised money by selling t-shirts. It's like, well, I mean, for a certain segment of the population, I would think that's really good and they would be happy with that sort of thing. Now, I know some people would be enraged by that sort of thing. You know, you think about where ESPN is on that sort of thing. You know, these are the guys that are making a big wet hug around Black Lives Matter. and here Barstool's taking the exact opposite approach, saying, well, we support the cops. So that's pretty radical. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong at all. Yeah, I just find it ridiculous that whenever an up and growing media outlet like Barstool, who I like it a hell of a lot more than ESPN. I get more information out of Barstool. I'm not repeatedly beaten over the head with leftist Marxist ideology. Is it on their website? Yeah, in some places it is. But it's not everywhere, so I'm not forced to consume it. You know, I can get my sports news through Barstool without having to choke on woke crap. So the idea they're trying to freeze out Barstool, I think the owners of the sports leagues ought to think about that. You know, you're letting a whole big segment, I won't say a majority of the country because I don't know the answer to that. I'd like to say the majority, but I don't know if that's true anymore. But it's a giant chunk of the sports fans are being cut out in this country by the woke media, the woke sports media. People are just dropping their golf clubs, their bats, their remote controls, and just walking away and saying, fuck the NFL, fuck MLB, I'm not watching anymore. Well, there are a lot of those people out there, and you could get some of them back by partnering with someone like Barstool. So, you know, and for someone like me who wants as many people watching sports as possible, because ultimately I think that makes the line softer and makes it easier to win, then yeah, let's bring in Barstool, absolutely. I like their content. Anyway, that was just some thoughts running around in my head about the proposed deal. Anyway, I hesitate to mention Barstool because, you know, some of their followers are just radical loyalists, if you will. And, you know, you say their name too loudly. Next thing you know, if you've said one thing semi out of bounds, they come and strike you down. You know, I don't need that heat. I'm not trying to suck Barstool's dick because I want to get in with those guys. I just would like them to partner with MLB because I think it would be entertaining and I would enjoy consuming that product. At any rate, all right. Like I said, if you're going to mention Barstool, I figure it's a good time to do it when you're riding a 14-game winning streak. So let's have today's picks. And what did I do with them? There they are. Well, this is for you, subscriber X. I know you're a Reds fan, so I figure give the people what you want. I figure he's one of my 13 hardcore subscribers that watches the videos. Reds Phillies. Here it is, Reds Phillies. This is a big series. The Reds are still in it. They're still there. Right now, it kind of feels like the Padres are tail end Charlie. That they're the ones that someone might get to pick off. That you're not going to catch the Brewers. They're just too good. Their pitching's too good. They've got enough offense now. They're clean. They're good. They're out. But you might catch the Padres. So, big series for the Reds. The Phillies, yeah, they're still there. They have a weak schedule upcoming. They survived the Dodgers, managed not to get swept. So, now you get a chance to get back on the beam here with the Reds coming to town. Citizens Bank Ballpark has always been a house of horrors for the Reds. Going back to Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, Johnny Cueto getting beat 22-1. That happened down there. Roy Halladay throwing a no-hitter against you. That happened down there. Joey Votto unable to hit infielder Wilson Valdez with the game on the line in the 19th inning. That happened down there. It's a house of horrors for the Reds. So this is advantage Phillies. Phillies struggled offensively against the Dodgers. I think now that they're gone, they're out of town, it's just going to kind of blow in a fresh air a little bit. Phillies are going to swing the bats tonight. That's why we like the run line. I'm kind of feeling this. We're trying to be a little tricky here. Wheeler, we think, will be just fine. Wheeler will do what he does. Throw sit. The Phillies used some pen yesterday. I almost think that's a good thing, just because I think then Wheeler and Girardi are going to say, all right, let's get as much out of Wheeler as we can. If that means going up to 115 pitches and shoving him into the 8th inning, that's what we're going to try to do. So we can have the pen ready for games Saturday and Sunday. So, more Wheeler, advantage Philly better. That's what we like. We think that what we're hoping is Phillies get up like 2-0. The Reds bring in their incredibly soft middle relief because we're down. We don't want to blow our best pitchers, so we're going to bring in our scrubs, and that's where the Phillies hopefully will take 2-0, blow it up to 5-1 or something, and that'll be the cover on the run line. So we'll take the Phillies. The best game we like is the Rays over the Twins. I just think this is one of these games where you got the best of everything. You got the best team. Rays are, I would say they're probably the best team in the American League. I just think they were in the World Series last year. They have a complete unit. They pitch, they hit, they field. They have a great bullpen. I mean, what do they not do? So you got their pitcher, I think, is better than Pineda. I think McClanahan is better than Pineda. They catch the ball better as the team is feeling good about itself. They still need to win. They're not clean. They're not gone yet. They have way too many good teams behind them with big checkbooks. The Red Sox, the Yankees, even the Blue Jays with their super young talent. So I think the Rays are going to have to keep their nose to the grindstone for another couple weeks. Just think, at 160 here, I don't think that's a terrible price. Not a hateful price. So we're going to go ahead there with the Rays. Cardinals, Royals. The Cardinals, I keep saying that it's not over for these guys. That whereas they were not huge buyers at the trade deadline, they weren't sellers either. They didn't trade for Nolan Arenado to tank. So I think they are still going to make a run at it the best they can. Swept the Pirates over midweek. Now they're going out there to Kansas City. This is another one of these hidden things that if you know it, you know it, and if you don't, you don't. But the Cardinals own Kauffman Stadium. They own that place. They just lease it out 159 games out of the year to the Royals and let them use it. But when the Cardinals come to town, that's their place. They win there like nobody's business. They're going to have their fans there. If you know anything about Missouri, the Cardinal line runs all the way out to probably somewhere around Sedalia, maybe further west than that. It probably runs all the way out to Independence, frankly. And then there's this little enclave in western Missouri that's Royals country. But other than that, the whole state of Missouri is Cardinal country, and that goes back, before when Kansas City wasn't there. You're going back into the 50s. The Cardinals owned the southern central part of the United States. That was all Cardinal country. So they are going to have their people there tonight, and they have a great record in Kauffman Stadium. They're getting Flaherty back. Flaherty threw 75 pitches in the minors leading up to this start. So I think he's going to be relatively stretched out. We're getting late in the year, and, he might be fresh. This idea he might be rusty. He might be fresh. Whereas, you're getting guys that are starting to lose the zip on their fastball because they've thrown a number of innings. He hasn't. So you might see some electric stuff tonight. We like the Cardinals. And then late night, we're going to take the Blue Jays here. I don't know. This is the Mariners are a bad franchise. They always have been, going back at least 15 years. I don't know that that's changed. I still think that these guys hurt themselves at the trade deadline just in that they changed the dynamic of that clubhouse. That clubhouse was gelling together, and just as they were having a kumbaya moment, the general manager came in and took a big shit on them. And I don't know they've gotten over that. Plus, the Blue Jays are just really good. I mean, the Blue Jays score like nobody's business. If the Blue Jays hit the ball, they're going to win easily. If they don't hit the ball, well, we still have a chance to win. But, if they square the ball up, they're just going to outscore the Mariners. So I don't know that's a hateful price. You're getting a really good pitcher. I know Pittsburgh Louie will be on the Blue Jays. He loves Robbie Ray. He's never actually told me that. I just observe his bets. And, every time Ray pitches, there it is, Blue Jays. He takes the Blue Jays. So Ray on the road, that's cheapening the price up a little bit where I think we're getting some value. Ray has been, since early May, he's been one of the aces in the league. So we kind of like, yeah. Well, I think it basically just boils down to the Blue Jays are better than the Mariners. And right now we're in rubber hits the road mode where, who's the better team? That's almost all you're looking at. Who's the better team here? There's no coasting. There's no, we're just going to take it easy for 3 weeks because it's a marathon. It's getting late. It's time for you to put it, you're at mile, 17, 18 now? This is when Kipchoge took off. There was no more screwing around. It was max effort time for Kipchoge in the marathon at the Olympics, and that's where we're at right now. This is max effort time. So who's the better team? And we're going to say it's the Blue Jays. So we're taking basically the better teams. That's kind of how we've gotten here. In other words, they've all been favorites. If I let you in on a secret there, I would say all of them except one were favorites. So all we're doing is picking favorites, but we're correctly picking favorites. We're picking favorites that are winning and not stepping on their dicks. So Phillies, Rays, Cardinals, Blue Jays, that's what we like here on this Friday, the 13th. You know what I tried to do Wednesday night after I'd won my 14th game? I tried to hit the like button on my own damn video 14 times, just do it, and YouTube wouldn't let me do it. I was annoyed. It's like, well, I don't know if anyone else likes this, but I do, goddammit, 14, and it wouldn't let me do it. So maybe you guys could hit the like button just a little bit, How about that? Thanks. We'll probably have one for you tomorrow. I'm going to try. I've got a ton of stuff that has to be done here between now and Saturday, but Saturday's usually, again, that's usually our day here in the barn. We win on Saturday, so kind of want to get one up for tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Do the best I can. Thanks. We'll see you later.